And we are live. Alrighty, welcome back everybody. And for the two-year students who are joining us, welcome back. We are hosting our 5th Turf Club meeting for the fall of 2020. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kyle Masters. I'm the president of the Penn State Turfgrass Club, and I will let the other officers and advisors introduce themselves as well.
Hey, I am Landon Hall, the vice president, and I'm part of the two-year program.
I'm AJ Weil. I'm the secretary. I'm a junior in the 4-year program.
Ben is not on here. I think he's coming late. Alrighty, well, we'll get started. So welcome back everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. We have a very special guest, Mr. Phil Cuffare from Oakland Hills, and Phil will be talking to us today about the restoration project that's going on right now. So thank you, Phil, for joining us and taking the time to be a part of the Turf Club last minute, and take it away.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, for having me. It's quite a privilege and honor to do something like this. You know, I've seen a lot of my mentors, and we were talking about Jeff Corcoran earlier. I know he's done it, and good friends Dave D'Alessandro and Paul B. But thanks for having me. This is really cool, and I'm super excited. So Kyle, Aiden, thanks for extending the invite, and hopefully we can get you guys up to Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. We can do this in person sometime. So these two, Aiden and Kyle, reached out to me, and they wanted to talk about the restoration, the process, the challenges, and really that's kind of all they left me with. So I was, we've had a busy year since March 16th, and you know, I've had a busy last couple of days, so they threw this on my plate. We just had Gil Hansen on Sunday. Took him to the airport this morning at 7 a.m. And we also had some special guests from USGA in Sunday night and all day yesterday. So I crammed this thing in like I did back in college. I started at about 11 a.m. with a big old brain fart, and how am I going to pull this thing off? So I hope you guys like it. And if you have any questions, you know, I like to keep it interactive. So please speak up. When I started doing this, I loved doing PowerPoints, and I took my took all my photos, went back to like March 16th when this thing all started, and it was a very cool flashback for me because we've just been going full steam ahead, and but being able to relive this and seeing some of the photos, I had Kai Golby in my office, who's one of the shapers for the Cavemen, in here, and I was like, do you remember this day, or do you remember that day, looking at this? And it's like, holy cow, we're just trying to get wrapped up right now, but really to relive this is cool. So thanks for letting me do this. So we're going to talk about the 2020 Gil Hanse South Course restoration, the process, the challenges, and the results. Obviously 2020 was a challenge in itself for all of us. But I just first want to give you a little history on Oakland Hills Country Club. Donald Ross designed 36-hole facility. We have the North Course, and we have the famed South Course. Oakland Hills has hosted 17 major championships, 6 U.S. Opens, 3 PGAs, a Ryder Cup, 2 U.S. AMs, a U.S. Women's AM, 2 Senior Opens. And they haven't held a major championship in quite some time. 2016 is the last USAM. And there's a reason behind that. You know, I think the golf course got a little stale. It was outdated, and our peer clubs had all, you know, upgraded. So when I took the job in 2018, they had hired Gil, you know, to do this plan, and they were moving forward. And I had worked with Gil back in 2001 at Applebrook Golf Club in the Philadelphia area. So I was very familiar with Gil and Jim Wagner and that, and was familiar. Oakland Hills is a dream job, and I grew up watching it on TV. And it's so cool to be here. It's so cool to work at something that I grew up watching every day. So there's a lot of pride involved. But to get back to the golf course was kind of outdated, really outdated. I think one of the terms they used here in 2006, they tiger proofed it before the 2008 PGA Championship. And for you youngsters out there that probably don't know much about tiger proofing, that's where you pinch fairways and put bunkers on the both sides of the fairways. That kind of golf is kind of outdated. If you look at the Marion restorations or now Oakland Hills or the LACCs and that stuff, it's more about width and angles, and making it member friendly and making it tour caliber player friendly and challenging those guys, but still having a 25 handicap in it, play the golf course. So the scope of work that we embarked on is a $12.5 million project. That's quite a bit of money when you really, really boil it down. And when you break it down, what's in $12.5 million? Well, new USGA greens with precision air technology. For those of you that don't know precision air, it's the competitor to sub air. First, sub air. So new bunkers with Billy bunker technology, new tees, new grassing lines, regrass all the tees, greens, fairways, native areas, drainage property wide. So we can host a major championship, but also for member play. Massive tree removal, and of course the new Rainbird irrigation with pump station. So that's how we get to $12.5 million. It's quite a price tag. Precision air in itself is about $3 million. And, it's been an unbelievable experience. I know you guys do internships all across the country. Aiden had the experience of a lifetime here, and he'll realize it someday, all the hard work that he put in, how it's going to come to fruition, and how he's going to rely on all that hard work and all those difficult situations that he's in throughout his career. So Kyle and Aiden talked about challenges, and challenges. It's funny because I've really been trained. Any challenge that comes my way, I always feel like we just destroy it, because of the guys I've worked for, whether it's Paul B is a mentor, Jeff Corcoran is my main mentor, but these guys make working on a golf course look easy in the toughest situations. And I think back to my time at Oak Hill Country Club and working for Jeff. It could be 5 inches of rain. It could be a tree falling on a green. It could be the worst disease, but we were always prepared. And I truly believe when you're prepared that you can take on anything. And going into this project, I knew the challenges because of the growing that I had done at Applebrook Golf Club with Gil. And we grew Applebrook in the worst drought I think the Philadelphia area had seen in like 100 years. You couldn't wash your car, you couldn't water your lawn. There was the stuff that homeowners do you could not do. No home sprinklers. Golf courses could only water like their greens and in like fairways. There was water reporting. It was strict, and to grow it in a Philadelphia summer, hot, humid, with drought restrictions, is something I'm very proud of. But when I look back on it, it prepared me for what we did at Oakland Hills this year. So, to all the young guys out there, interns and guys just getting started in your career, it's a tough industry, no doubt about that. And how you are prepared for challenges in life, really, it makes life a lot easier. And when you come into something tough, you know how to work through it, not get stressed out, but think it through. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But what were the challenges of the project? Obviously, we had one we never planned for, and that started it right off in March, and that's COVID. It's affected all of you in some way, shape, or form. It's affected our membership. It's affected our financials. It's affected golf. Everywhere you look, it's affected it somehow. But, kind of how you handle yourself through that particular challenge really what set the tone for the project. I know Aiden, I think about Aiden and talking to him when he hadn't come yet. And, at one point there was a question mark, where were we even going to be able to have interns, which were going to be a big part of this project. So, from my standpoint, being a golf course superintendent and being the manager of Oakland Hills, I have to manage people, I have to manage turf, I have to manage financials and all this stuff. But first and foremost, managing people when you have a pandemic going on was my number one priority. No doubt about that. And for the success of the project, we needed people and we needed labor. And to keep that labor safe and everybody healthy was the primary focus, especially when you have upwards of 100 people on your golf course, and 40 of my staff. That's roughly 140 people at one time that we got to make sure are safe day in and day out, because one outbreak and this thing shut down. The project of a lifetime is shut down, and that we wouldn't be on time or on budget. So how did we deal with it? Obviously we had the health concerns of the staff and the contractors. We had contractors coming in little by little, whether it was Leibold Irrigation or Gill traveling from New Jersey to Texas to Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, back to New Jersey, and doing it by car. Is quite impressive. He was so dedicated that he would go to Baltusrol for 2 or 3 days and drive cross country to Michigan for 3 or 4 days, and then drive back to Baltusrol for 3 or 4 more days, and then drive back to Oakland Hills. I mean, that's really dedication. And again, we'll touch on the skill set here later. One of the other things that at first I didn't realize was product manufacturing. So obviously there were shutdowns. Well, Rainbird shut down, Precision Air shut down, and manufacturing of sprinkler heads became very, very, very difficult because their manufacturing was scattered throughout the world. So whether it's a rotor produced in Mexico or a spring produced in China, or, you don't think about that when you look at a sprinkler head out on the golf course you're working at. So it really, really opened my eyes, and there were some delays. Luckily enough, we are Oakland Hills. And we probably got some products before some other people, especially on the irrigation side, because they had made this monster commitment to Oakland Hills that we kind of jumped some people. I know there was like 900 Rainbird 900 shortages and stuff like that we waited for maybe for 2 or 3 weeks, but I know other people are maybe still waiting for them. So you think about all that stuff through this, and it's a major, major challenge. And our Precision Air order was put on hold. They're produced in Jacksonville, Florida. And they had 2 separate shutdowns that threw our order off. We should have all the Precision Airs in the ground right now as we speak and hooked up and running, but we're still waiting on our last 5, and they're coming October 15th. So, we're probably a good month and a half, 2 months behind on that aspect. Shutdowns, I don't know what golf courses you guys worked at, but, the governor in Michigan, shut down the state of Michigan. Luckily enough, we had like an easement or something going on where we could kind of work underneath that shutdown. So that was really interesting because you had contractors that still wanted to work, and, can we work? Should we work? Are we going to get arrested if we work? Are we going to get fined if we work? But we really strategized hard and worked smart, intelligently. And, we weren't working on the outskirts of the property. We kind of focused on the middle of the property to keep the authorities at bay and to still keep moving along during tough times. My wife and my neighbors tell a story that for like a month and a half in my neighborhood, I was the only car that left our neighborhood in the morning, came back in the evening for like a month and a half. And really, I never thought about it once, but they were telling me recently, they're like, yeah, the whole, half of March or whatever and all of April, you were the only car that went down the street and came home at night, which I don't know if I'm proud of that, but it's really something to think about with what we were doing here. And the fact Gil was driving across country to get here, that tells you the magnitude of this project. How did you guys deal with it? Do we have any interesting stories, or we get some interaction going right now? Kyle, you worked at Oakmont. How'd that go?
It was interesting. I think we'd go in, take our temperatures, and operate at. I think we only had 2 staffs of 15 people, of 2 groups of 15 people for the beginning of the summer. But there was definitely a point in the year with the club, and they closed down guest play about a month in, and there was time where I thought maybe I might be going home for the summer. So
Right.
we'll
right.
say.
Anybody else got any interest? Challenges with COVID? Everybody shut.
They might not unmute themselves, but I know several of my students have some stories. Trey, are you in here? You can tell your story about being at Kiowa Island for like 3 weeks and then them saying, well, we're shutting down. And they just got in a car and drove to Colorado and found a new place. So
Wow. That's crazy.
Where's
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, so that was nuts. Right after TPC, just going. I mean, I was fully pumped, and I mean, we all kind of knew everything was going on down there, and kind of were spacing out. But I mean, I got on the airplane, it was still like, eh. But yeah, I didn't even put in 3 weeks there. Still just a crew of 10 guys. It was pretty crazy driving 45 minutes to go out to work, about basically just down on an island. And then I was just working on a Wednesday, and they're just like, yep, Friday's going to be the last day. And it was like, all right, well, what am I supposed to do now? And he was like looking around everywhere around Charleston and the Carolinas, and even on TurfNet. I think it was Victoria National, and I think there was a course up in Boston that really were like the only courses that within, I think like 2 weeks I were posting anything. So it was kind of a crapshoot on what I was going to do. And so I just hit up all the guys, and luckily we had 16 other guys or everyone out there that I could reach out to. And it was like, all right, well, who can take me right now? Cause I got to go somewhere. I can't sitting around for a week trying to be excited to go on an internship. It was tough that I just didn't want to do. So
Right.
I packed up the car, 27 hours, 2 days, drove out, went up, just linked up with one of my other classmates, Cole Petrick, and kind of just banged it out there for 5 months. And it was pretty wild, just knowing that I wanted to be down south, warm season, all this and that. And it was like, I mean, I'm 30, things happen. Like, I get it. Like, I'm happy I'm here doing all that stuff, but it was just, decisions had to be made. I couldn't wait around, and I did learn a bunch of stuff, but it's still coming back. I know it's not something that I'm going to go back out and do, but I'm happy I did now that I really know that that's not the environment that I want to go to. But still, I already lined up internship back down at Yemen's, which I was at last winter. So I'll be there this winter again, and hopefully either there or Kiowa this summer. But Charleston, definitely for sure. But yeah, this summer was absolutely insane. That's it. Oy.
Are we back up?
Yeah. I think we
might
lost
not-
the screen there.
Was it me?
Yeah, I think we lost your.
your laptop.
Yep.
Am I back up or no?
Not yet.
Is it back up yet?
No, you might have to click on share screen, the green button again, and do that. There you go.
We good?
Yep.
All right. You want me to continue?
Go ahead.
All right. So back to the challenges. I apologize for that little blip. Contractors are a challenge, very big challenge. We've had what I would call not the best contractor, and I'll try to keep it clean. But we've had some really good ones. Leibold Irrigation, one of the best in the business. We had to call in LaBar, definitely the best in the business. Rainbird's been a hell of a partner. Watertronics Pump Station. Planning for a project, my goal was setting this thing up for success from day one, and picking contractors is setting it up for success. And I really thought we nailed it. And one of the companies that we really struggled with on the golf course side had some challenges. They had lost some key personnel, and it's been difficult dealing with them. The product is fine. We're going to be successful, but are on a group.
I think we lost his
Is
audio.
this what all your Zoom classes are like when you guys are in class?
Some of them. Some of them like this. Oh. Yeah, I don't think his audio or the screening account was in here anymore. I don't have the option to pause it while I'm screening.
I got it. It's recording.
All right, awesome. Phil, the floor is yours.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. So back to the contractors, real strong point to hit home on. Good contractors make the project. And when you have a bad one, they can make the project too. But luckily enough, we've worked through it, and the product's going to be incredible when it's finished. We're close, probably another month of doing some punch lift stuff and tighten everything up around the outside of the project, and we'll be good to go. Weather challenges, obviously, being in this industry, Mother Nature, it's going to be a constant battle throughout your career. It's been a constant battle throughout mine. Project started off snowy, rainy, cold, and I think we went right from cold to record heat in Detroit, Michigan. So people don't think of Detroit as hot. Aiden, I think we went a stretch of 14 days in the mid 90s, and we were getting 6 loads of sod a day, full trucks.
Oh yeah.
And those guys, I'll tell you what, they learned how to hand water, and it was an unbelievable job what they did. To this day, we did not lose one piece of sod from start to finish. Just an incredible effort by everybody involved. I couldn't say more about that and that challenge of LaBar laying 6 trucks of sod a day for 14 straight days, it seemed like, in 95-degree heat. It was brutal. One of the most brutal stretches I've probably ever been through in my career. So weather's always going to be a challenge in this industry, no matter what. And then mechanical challenges, you know, equipment breaking down, you know, tractors breaking down with a load of greens mix on them and the greens mix falls out, or, you know, mowers hitting rocks and all that stuff that we deal with on a daily basis as golf course superintendents. And when you have a project, it's like times 100, you know, contractors driving pieces of equipment across stuff they shouldn't. Luckily enough, that this was probably the least of my worries. Everybody kind of stayed in their lane and did a really, really good job most of the time. And we didn't have any wild animals running out there, as I'd like to say. You know, one of the things that I'm big on in training people is skill sets. You know, what makes a golf course superintendent successful, and how can I train young people like yourselves, the life lessons that I've learned or others have learned and taught me and trained me on in this industry. And some of them mom and dad teach you, and your grandparents and your brothers and sisters and your friends' parents, and others, your professors teach you, you know, veterans of the industry teach you, guys in your class teach you on what they went through. And I can't really stress enough the importance of networking. And I think young people today do a tremendous job at it. You know, finding out what Aiden learned at Oakland Hills, or finding out what Kyle learned at Oakmont. And every golf course is different. Every challenge is different. And I think in my career, when I was 20, 21 years old, 22 years old, I always think back, and one of my professors said, if you can grow grass in Philadelphia, you can grow it in anywhere in the world. And I've always been a challenge type guy. Like, really? Well, I want to go down there and see that. And you know, or, you know, if you want to go work for this person, if you can work for this person, you can work for anybody type thing. I love challenges like that. That's who I am. And that's kind of how I attacked my career. And one of my biggest things that I could pass on to any young person is never concentrate on your strengths, but attack your weaknesses. And you know, I'm not a great student. I'm a terrible student. So Dr. Kaminsky, don't hold me accountable for this, but I'm terrible. I'm a 70 student at best. I can't concentrate probably more than 15 minutes. You know, I need to touch it and feel it and do stuff like that. So I went to school at SUNY Delhi. It was kind of a technical golf course management program. And I got to, you know, mow and do all this stuff and touch it. And I really took advantage of my internships as a kid. I did enough to pass, but I'm smart in other avenues. That's the way I look at it. So that's some of the skill sets, you know. Don't concentrate on your strengths, attack your weaknesses though. You know, if you're not good in math and you don't know how to calibrate, you don't know how to do the proper math, learn it. And don't be embarrassed if you don't know it. It's more embarrassing to kill grass because you can't calibrate properly than it is to ask someone how they do the math, because everybody does math differently, I think. Or what does a fertilizer do, or what does a chemical do, or why do you do this? Why do you do that? Ask tons of questions. I love questions. And in my position, I don't think you can ask enough questions. So what I think is the skill set for success, multitasking. It's a term that was beat into me at a young age. You know, I think that's, you know, being a golf course superintendent in a nutshell, multitasking. And I'll use a phrase from Jeff Corker, and don't quote me on Twitter on this, but, you know, we fit 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. And Jeff used to say that every day. We got the maximum out of each and every day, whether we started at 4:30 in the morning and worked till 6 o'clock at night, or if we got 4 inches of rain, we got the maximum out of the day. We did everything we possibly could, whether it was clean the shop or fertilize in the beginning or mow greens. I personally don't think anybody probably does it better than Jeff. He's taught me, but 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. Always remember that, but don't quote me. Organizational skills. You you know, organizing stuff. I tell these guys, if the trash is full, empty it. You know, if the trash is half empty, empty it again. You know, if you drive by a piece of trash, pick it up. Don't procrastinate. Organize. You know, organize your finances, organize your car, organize your laundry, because there's not enough time in the day in this business to constantly be going back and doing things and picking up the pieces because you were a little bit too lazy to do it in the first place. Prioritizing, you know, another one. All these go together too. Prioritizing, you know, I have all these lists on my desk, and I'm a list guy. Crossing off that list is huge, and it means a lot. Putting a line with a pen through it. It can't help you enough, because one, it shows that you accomplished something during the day, and two, you prioritize, you know. And all you guys are going to learn to watch the weather, you know, and you're going to have 15 different apps of weather like I do, and you know, it's all going to say something different. But looking, you know, one day down the line, 10 hours down the line, 5 hours down the line, 5 days down the line, 14 days down the line, in prioritizing your tasks on the golf course, or there's minute-to-minute prioritizing. You know, the other one, perseverance. It's hard being a golf course superintendent, and it's hard being at a high level, and it's hard being at a lesser level. You know, a municipal job is probably harder than Oakland Hills, because they have less money, less people, less mechanics, less resources. So to do that, they persevere. You know, and you know, whether we all probably just watched the US Open, you know, they persevered. You know, they were mowing in the dark. You know, they persevered through Thursday when it was soft, and they got it back to being really firm. They persevered through coronavirus. They thought they were going to have a tournament in June, and then they found out late that they were going to have it in September. And going through that, I look at that staff. I mean, wow. I mean, we heard a lot about them last week, but that's probably the epicenter of perseverance right there. I mean, the highest of highs, you're about to host a U.S. Open at Wingfoot Golf Club, and it's taken away from you by a virus. And then you think you're not going to have it, and then you think you're going to have it, and then you think you're not going to have it, and then to find out you are going to have it, and to get ready for that. And, you know, what those guys did, just incredible. I mean, what a show they put on for the country and their club, if you ask me. Really, really neat to watch that stuff. But the perseverance these guys did on this project, you know, it's hot. It hadn't rained 8, and I don't think, how many days did it rain during the project? 1 or 2?
Yeah, maybe 2.
I mean, I look at the perseverance these guys had. I mean, incredible. Never once did they have a frown on their face, or a, you know, WTF moment, or, you know, they worked together as a team. That, you know, they saw the challenge, and they attacked it. I just, you know, I couldn't say enough about this staff, you know, to the point where I didn't have to say anything at all except good job. They just really came together as a team, and they dominated. I mean, they're still dominating today. It's incredible. I mean, the 1-inch hose is out of their hand, and now they got push spreaders back in their hand, and now they're just furting the crap out of this place, which is, it's awesome. They got smiles on their face because the hoses are away. So the next one, the 6 Ps. This was taught to me by my Greens chairman in Chicago. He's just an incredible individual that has taught me so much. Classic businessman, self-made guy. But, you know, he reminds me of my father, who passed away in 2011. So, you know, he's like a coach, this guy. But I drove over from Rochester, New York to Chicago, and he taught me the 6 Ps. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. Whether you're preparing for a Zoom call, or like today, or whether you're preparing for a board meeting, you have to be prepared. Whether you're preparing for a U.S. Open or the Ladies Club Championship, you have to be prepared, and have a plan A, B, C, D, E. And if you take all these skills, multitasking, organization, prioritizing, perseverance, you will conquer the 6 Ps every single time. Trust me. I tell my guys this all the time. If you're not prepared, you're going to get sideswiped, but the guys that are prepared can attack any situation at any time. All right, so let's talk golf. The process. This is the famed South Course at Oakland Hills under the knife. That's our first tee, 10th tee, 18th green, 9th green area. It's an incredible complex up there that got the facelift of a lifetime under Gil Hance. And what he did up there is special, very, very, very special. You can see that thing was ripped up from about April 1st till June sometime. And it was probably almost a godsend that the club was shut down during coronavirus, because there probably would have been a lot of people crying up there seeing all that going on.
Phil, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, just let me know when you want me to keep on moving through the slideshow.
Okay, sure. Yep. How much time do we have, Kyle? I can get talking for a long time.
We usually try to take it to like an hour, so 7 o'clock around then.
Okay.
We'll save a little bit of room for questions.
Yep. And if you guys see something you want to talk about, or if you don't know much about Oakland Hills, stop me. But that's a 110,000 square foot clubhouse in the background there. That's the brand new putting green right off of it. There's a precision air unit in the ground there. There's another one behind the 9th green, which is in the middle of your screen. And then there's another precision air unit kind of over by the flagpole area. So there's 3 of them there. Let's go to the next screen, Kyle. You can get a better angle. So this is that area taking shape. Obviously a lot of sod on the ground, but you can start to see the 9th fairway joining with the first fairway. I think this looks like we probably just got done seeding some fairways. Actually, yeah, pretty close. It is, because the greens are seeded in that picture, but we haven't got any growth on them. Just the 18th green in the farther, you can see some kind of green fuzzies on that. Let's go to the next screen, Kyle.
So what'd you end up going with?
007, 777, and L93 XD.
You must not have the Michigan State guys consulting, because otherwise you'd be pure distinction, I'm pretty sure.
Trey Rogers has been here a couple times. Dr. Vargas comes about every 2 weeks. Love Dr. Vargas. Love Trey too. A lot of guys in the area have pure distinction. I really did my homework, talked to Paul B a lot, talked to Jeff a lot, talked to Colin Boyd a lot. There was one reason why I didn't choose pure distinction. We have a chipping green and it's incredible, and we do nothing to it. I mean, we mow it, top dress it, and roll it. And I swear to God, the thing rolls a 13. But we have a green at Oakland Hills on the 11th hole. It was 4,500 square feet. And I think Gil enlarged it to maybe 6,000. And there's one way on, one way off this green. And I was scared to death of from foot traffic. And, 007's proven the test of time. And I really liked with our nursery 777 and L93 XD, I thought was excellent. And, Gil wanted a model book, and he didn't want to go with a mono stand. So I felt very comfortable with those grasses, and what everybody else was saying, and what I had seen on our nursery on our test spot was incredible too, texture wise. You want to go to the next screen, Kyle? So those of you guys that are golf course architecture geeks like I am, I follow Gil, Doak, and all these guys. Clean and Classic. What Oakland Hills had before. I could have turned this PowerPoint into 2 hours, showing you pictures of befores and afters. This is a clean, classic look at Oakland Hills that is going to show well every day, or show well for a major championship. I think you missed a slide there, Kyle. I think you got to go back one right there. Yeah.
right here.
Yep, that's it. The clean and classic look. Yep, and our putting green. So this is the first tee, 10th tee area, and our putting green, it's all bent grass. It's all one. So the first and 10th tee roll right into the putting green. You know, this is a surface we'll probably mow, you know, under 200, having it rolling right into our putting green. It's a really cool complex that once you see it in person, it's pretty spectacular. And with the tree removal from this area, looking out across the property, couple American elms in the distance, it's really a special view. Probably one that you know, when you think of the greats, Shinnecock, obviously, Oakmont, we're going to rival some of those views. We'll go to the next slide. So here's some Gil Hance, Jim Wagner, Caveman Construction, demoing of some Reese Jones stuff on the left, and starting to Ross, the 17th at Oakland Hills. Probably one of the great finishing holes in golf. From the back tee, it probably plays 255 uphill to a very undulated green. Really, really special view from this green looking back to the clubhouse, but really special view looking from the tee to the green. You're going to see it here in a second. Let's go to the next slide. So you can see it taking shape back to the original Ross. And, you know, Gil's really the master at restoration on these classic golf courses. And Kai Golby, one of the cavemen, is his detail and level of detail is crazy. We were looking at pictures of 1929 throughout the project. And if you see that big bunker on the right hand and look at it when it was in 29, I mean, it's like it's a replica. It's mind-blowing. We'll go to the next slide. So that's a 7,500 square foot bunker. And during the project, our bunker square footage is about 195,000 square feet of bunkers. Reese Jones had 137 bunkers on the golf course. Gil has roughly 91, but the square footage increased by like 100,000 square feet. Some of the technology, Billy bunker technology. This is a bunker, real steep face. The picture kind of does it justice, but not so much. That's after 3.5 inches of rain in one shot. Basically, probably a 7-8 hour period, 3.5 inches of rain on that thing. Not a granular sand misplaced. Oakland Hills had really suffered through the years from washouts, and just, you know, they were probably 10 years behind doing a restoration, to be truth be told, which is one of the intriguing things about taking this job and interviewing for it. Was I'm a huge golf fan, and, you know, history of golf, and I knew this golf course, and I just love blowing up stuff and making it better. And this was the project of a lifetime at the golf course of a lifetime, and something that I just love to do is make things better, and returning this beauty back to the grand stage of major championship golf would probably be a career highlight. Hopefully it comes true very, very soon.
Phil, I got a quick question for you. With the bunkers, is that considered the riveted edge?
That is, yes. Okay. Yep. And Gil and Jim take a lot of pride in their riveted edge, because they like that classic look, not that you know, that store-bought, manufactured, brand new look. And the whole theme of the project was that we almost wanted it to look like it was back, you know, in the 20s or 30s, and that we really didn't restore it, that it was kind of always here. You know, hence the grass blends on the greens, but, you know, their riveted edge style to make it look classic, and that it kind of always had been here. You know, not that sharp Augusta National face, which that has their place in golf. You want to go to the next slide? Big time drainage. I think drainage is one of the best things that, about golf course management. I love drainage. There's nothing more that I hate than wet grass. Nothing more, or wet, muddy stuff. I just, it bothers me when the golf course is wet. I like firm, fast. I like to be able to control the conditions. If it's dry, you can control the conditions. If it's wet, you're at the mercy of the weakness of the golf course. And I know you guys hear it in school and you hear it everywhere, drainage, and more drainage. It couldn't be truer. But drainage plans, I would school you on, instead of chasing puddles, build systems. I think the people before us, whether it was they were short on resources or whatever, a lot of them never really solved the problem, and figuring the problem out and coming to a solution to the problem. There's a lot less pain further down the line if you do it that way instead of chasing puddles. So this is an 8-inch pipe these guys are putting in, but obviously you can see how deep it is. Don't share this with OSHA, but it's a lot safer than it looks, honestly, because they put some different cuts in there to shore it up. But, this is in-house stuff. This isn't contractor. Guy to my right is my South Course superintendent, Matt Chouinard. We call him Chewy. There's an H2B guy in the blue shirt, Bernie, and guy in the yellow is Max Sturgis. And these guys like big machines. They like big holes. It's really, to get this type of experience is so invaluable. It's like I tell them every day, I go, you're going to go to your next golf course, or when you run a golf course, and you're going to be able to tackle any project you guys want to tackle. Want to go to the next slide, Kyle? Precision air. If anybody has any questions, please stop me. But basically what this unit does, like I said before, it's a competitor to Subair, but it can blow air in, ambient air into the greens. It can suck moisture out. It can blow air conditioning in. It can blow heat in. So it does 4 different things. It's probably one of the most powerful tools I've ever seen used and I've ever used. I know Marion has them. I know Baltustrol's putting them in. There's some other clubs, Anne Arundel Manor, a Lotion Club, that have them. Is it the wave of the future? I think, it could be. But I think it helps what we're doing at Oakland Hills. And sometimes I get a little embarrassed talking about it because we're grass growers. We should be able to grow grass in every environment. And Dr. Kaminsky, you worked at Congo. So, you were there probably when Paul Sr. was messing around with this stuff.
Yeah, we had guys running out with fans hooking up to the irrigation system at like midnight. There was like a person who got stuck on the job who had to go at midnight and just take 3 of them and keep pushing cool air into the greens. It was a nightmare.
Right. You wish you had these back in the day. So this is really cool technology that, we're proud to have and probably proud to put on display. We have 6 of them up and running now that we run. They're incredible. They're actually mind-blowing. If you guys get a chance to come out here or go visit Marion, I know that's closer to home, take advantage of it and see these things work. It's wicked, wicked cool technology. We'll go to the next one, Kyle. Gil Hance. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with Gil. Gil, I think, I have no problem saying this, is probably the best architect in the world, and the best human being in the world. He is just a treat to work with. He loves maintenance staffs. He spends a lot of time down here. I know we had an evening he spent with our whole staff. We had dinner, beers, open mic. The guys and the girls asked questions for 2 hours to Gil, and he answered every last one of them, whether it was about Trump or whether about anything. So real special guy. And here are golf pros working with Gil on the 11th green at Oakland Hills in April, creating some new pin positions. Gil's just a special guy. If you get an opportunity to work with Gil, on any project, I highly recommend taking advantage of it. He's just, he's a mentor of mine too. He's just incredible. Just the stuff I've learned from him is mind blowing. I worked with him in 2001. I was the assistant superintendent at Applebrook Golf Club. So when I got the opportunity to take advantage of this, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. Like I said, with the architect of a lifetime, with at the club of a lifetime. So I'm lucky. The architectural team, this little guy in the blue hoodie over here is Jack Judge. He's a member's son. Just one of the coolest kids I've ever been around. And guy to the right of him is Kai Golby. Caveman shaper extraordinaire, built Terra Edie with Doak. The big guy with the poofy hair is Blake Conant. Another caveman, worked for Doak a long time. Just incredible. He's out at Denver Country Club right now working with Gil. And then we got Gil Hance. Then on the other side of the screen, the girl in the red shirt is Ashley Sturkin, one of my assistants. Just an incredible. This is Gil's greens team right here that helped renovate the greens at Oakland Hills and do the green scan 3D and make all the new pin positions and do all that cool stuff that you probably heard during the U.S. Open about Wingfoot. Guy to her right is Taylor Gray. Taylor just took an interim superintendent job at my old place in Chicago, Oak Park Country Club. Taylor's incredible. We got Gil, and then we got Jack again. So when Gil would be in town for 3 or 4 days, these three worked exclusively with Gil from 7 a.m. in the morning till sometimes 8 p.m. at night. Really, really neat stuff for these guys to put on their resume, guys and girls to put on their resume. And the work that they did out here restoring Ross's original greens at Oakland Hills, priceless. The last slide is one I take great pride in. Work hard and you will get rewarded in your career. This young man worked extremely hard for us, and I'm sure he can share some more stories with you, but he probably dropped some lbs, so we took him out for a nice lunch at the Rusty Bucket, and there you have it. Aiden, great job, buddy.
Thanks, Phil.
I had to throw you in there. I was going to throw you in there.
Yeah, Kyle showed me this PowerPoint earlier, and I was dying laughing.
Yeah, but if I had to leave you guys with one message tonight, and if you have any questions, please ask away. But work hard, learn hard, play hard, seek out the best mentors in the business. Obviously, you're at one of the best universities in the business. Dr. Kaminsky's incredible. Just go see stuff, go see different places, work for different people. And like what I did in my career is I always wanted to be around the best, whether it was Paul Sr. or Paul Jr. or John Zimmers or Dave D'Alessandro or Jeff Corcoran, and you take little pieces from them. Don't try to be them, but take little pieces from them. Whether it's their personality and how they talk to people or how they communicate to their staff, or is it agronomics? Is it how they run a morning meeting? Is it how they maintain their fleet of equipment? Is it how they sell a project? I've done it my whole career, and, it's just, don't try to be them. Just take pieces and be yourself, but work hard, give it all you got, and when you don't have any more strength left, give a little bit more, and think your way through it, and just persevere. It's an incredible industry, but you're going to get out of it what you put into it. You guys got any questions? Everybody get off.
Thank you, Phil. That was awesome.
Are you the only one left on, Aiden?
No.
Yeah, we got a lot of people here. Thank you, Phil. Thank you for taking the time to come and talk to us and put this presentation together.
No, I would love to have you guys out here. I think it's, I love talking to people, and this thing could have been 3 hours long. I just, I love
Phil,
talking.
we had the Cutter Cup canceled this year because of COVID. His first time in 27 years. So maybe when Trey is in charge of organizing the next one, we'll have it out at your club.
Yeah, absolutely. Would
Then
love.
you'll get about 25 of us out there, and you'll be like, I wish I wouldn't have agreed to do this.
No way. I love it. More the merrier. We can have a couple beers too. You guys got any questions?
Welcome to the world of Zoom where nobody talks.
Yeah, I know, right? And I didn't realize I didn't have my video on. Jesus. I wasn't practicing the 6 Ps.
Phil, Anthony, what was your overall budget for the whole renovation project, and did you come over or under on it?
So we're still working on it. There's still, we haven't closed the books on it. And the overall budget was about 12.5 million when it was all said and done. We're looking like we're going to come right in on budget, maybe even a little bit under with everything. So it's all looking good. You know, it's big. That Precision Air price tag really jumped up the price in it.
And follow-up question with that, with managing that budget, what was the biggest difficulty on it?
You know, I think, you know, I'm probably going to talk like a typical golf superintendent and what I say in the boardroom. When you're playing with Mother Nature, there's a lot of uncertainties. You know, weather plays a big factor, you know, and luckily we had some incredible weather. The contractor's moving a little slow right now, and we're probably going to end up sodding our 7th fairway. So we'll see. So managing budgets is fun, actually, and it can also be stressful, but you know, there's really no magic to it except you know, being organized and thinking it through and figuring it out. I mean, Jeff Corcoran, who's probably one of the best spreadsheet guys I've ever been around in this business and one of the best business guys I've ever seen, you know, he would tell you the same thing, you know, that kids want to learn about budgets, and it's like every budget's different, and you know, it's doing your homework and doing stuff like that. In the grand scheme of it, it's really not that difficult. You know, I'd say growing grass in July is a lot more difficult than figuring out a budget.
These guys are all looking for their internships. Most golf, I think some sports turf. Any suggestions for them on that?
Yeah, come to Oakland Hills for sure. We would love to have you. But I think internships, you know, like I said before, find a great mentor, someone that's doing something cool. You know, I used to seek out, what did I want to learn? What was my weakness? What was my strength? You know, where, if it's, you know, I wanted to do a grow-in, so I went to Applebrook Golf Club to be an assistant at that point in my career. You know, and then I wanted to host a tour event, so I went to Waynesboro Country Club right down the street to host the SCI Pennsylvania Classic, you know, and then, you know, I hunkered down into an assistant's role back in Rochester, New York, and, you know, then I wanted to work for a big type club at Oak Hill Country Club and see how that operates daily, not just for a small internship, but, you know, work for the best, work for the middle guys, see what you like. I mean, you know, like I always instructed Aiden, you know, you don't have to be the next director of agronomy at Oakland Hills. There's plenty of good jobs out there. But learn the fundamentals. You have to be fundamentally sound to be successful. And you have to learn how to grow grass in June, July, and August. You know, everybody can grow grass in April and May. But can you keep it alive in June, July, and August and produce those conditions day in and day out? And those fundamentals are going to carry you through.
Hunter, do you have a question? I think your hand's still up. I don't know if you asked it or not.
No, sorry, I forgot to take that down.
Phil, are you
Anybody else
guys
have any?
seeding your greens, or you guys sodding?
We seeded them. all 19 greens seeded. Being we only have one green we have not mowed yet, and we're probably going to mow in a day or two, and that's our third green. That Gil completely blew up the third hole and put it back to the original Ross. So we actually moved the green like 50 yards. But we actually had some cold weather a week ago. I put a tarp on it, and it's beautiful. It's ready to go right now. So
Nice.
When
Thank
are you opening?
we plan on opening hopefully July 1st or sometime in early July. And right now it looks like that's going to happen. We actually put some cups in the greens for the USGA that was out here on Monday. And I had full cup cutter length roots. I should have put a slide up, but I was running behind on our first 12 greens that we did. So we had greens that were, call it July, August, September, 3.5 months old, and full cup cutters, plugs coming out. It was spectacular. They were going nuts here. It was so cool. Yeah. I love the science behind growing grass. So some guys are project guys, and I love the agronomics, the science behind making grass grow, the fertility aspect and the project aspect, and getting back to attacking your weaknesses. If you got to like it all, and you got to be great at it all, and especially at this level, if being a drainage guy, you got to understand the mathematics and how to drain stuff properly, and obviously agronomy and the physics of a plant and all that stuff. It's cool. I love this industry so much. And then the mechanical aspect, that's a whole different realm. But you got to spend some time with equipment managers and learn the ins and outs of all that fun stuff.
Any other questions? We're a little over, so I know we try to keep these things to an hour so we don't have every Tuesday night people freaking out about not being able to get things done. Phil, if people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
You can reach me. You can get my phone number from Aiden, or you can email me. You want me to show you? I don't know if you guys can see my business card, or do you want me to email you guys?
Yeah, Phil, I can email your information out to these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be sending you the intern video, Dr. Community, all that fun stuff. But
it's good. My students, tomorrow we have our first internship prep class. So there's 8 students who are probably all in here listening. They start tomorrow prepping for like how they're going to go about finding their internship. And so I'm sure a lot of them are really interested in figuring out like, what do they all have to offer?
Yeah, we have housing. I think we pay well. Overtime's great. Talk to Aiden about it. I think it's something I couldn't stress. I love mentoring people. It's a cool and exciting time at Oakland Hills, and being back in a major hunt and having Gil here, driving the ship is fun. I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of young kids.
Kyle, I think it's back to you. Wrap it up.
Alrighty. With that being said, Phil, thank you again for being able to have a presentation and being with us last minute. I know you're really busy with everything going on, and I would just like to say, good luck with the rest of the project, and hopefully Aiden and I and whoever else at some point in the future can get out to see the finished project.
Yeah, absolutely, Kyle. And again, thanks so much, guys, for having me. And if I can do this every year, or hopefully I can get up to State College and do it in person sometime. This is great opportunity for us in Oakland Hills. I wish all you guys the best of luck. Call me on my cell, email me. Don't hesitate at all. Any way I can help anybody out.
Alrighty. I will end the recording there. Thank you, Phil. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great evening.
Phil, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. That was awesome.
Yep, absolutely.